Hello everyone, welcome to Goldenacre on this lovely sunny day for today's BT Premiership Grand Final between Heriot and Melrose. Now Melrose, as you may well know, were last year's champions and they're very keen to keep the cup once more down at the Green Yards. Heriot beat Melrose in the Charity Shield back in September, so they too are very keen to add this piece of silverware to their collection. Alongside me in the commentary box is Chris Patterson, who's played umpteen times, more than he cares to remember, on this lovely Goldenacre surface. So Chris, first time weather and conditions, and then we'll get down to the game. Perfect.
Oh, it's absolutely perfect, isn't it, this time of year? It was actually fairly miserable this morning, a bit wet. It's sleet almost. For late April was surprising, but it's cleared up beautifully this afternoon. A little bit of wind coming towards us, so blowing away from the stand that you can see down towards the bottom left corner as we look at it on our pictures at the moment. But this will be a really contested game. I think Heriot and Melrose quite rightly contesting the final. Heriot's finished the regular season on top, obviously, and Melrose are looking to come back and from third place, finishing behind Ayr, to contest for this final here this afternoon. So a really close game expected, wonderful conditions, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, for those of you who are watching this and are wondering why there is a Premiership playoff, the top 4 teams in the Premiership at the end of the regular season played off. Number 1 against number 4, that was Heriot's against Curry, and Heriot's beat Curry, and the second and third teams played off, and that was Ayr and Melrose just edged it against Ayr 22 points to 20. And so these two winners of the semis come into the final today, Heriot against Melrose. I can tell you that Melrose have won the championship on 9 previous occasions, they being the present cup holders. And you know, Chris, they've got an enviable record in Premiership rugby, Melrose. They're a very astute bunch, they're well organised, and they're a very ambitious club.
They are very ambitious, and they're forward thinking as well, and two good coaches in John Dalziel and Robert Christie. They've driven them over the last couple of years, and you know, you only have to look at the sides today to see that you know, Hugh Blake, who was in the Scotland Six Nations squad, is on the bench. He's kept out the starting side by Graham Dodd's a true Melrose stalwart, a lot of those championship wins. Neil Irvin Hess, who Scottish under-21 star, and Grant Runciman, another local lad. So they're a strong side, Melrose, and they're used to winning things. But Heriot, as you say, finished the regular season and they were 10 points ahead of Ayr, 11 points ahead of Melrose. And one thing, you know, that I picked out was that 13 wins in the regular season and 11 try bonus points. So they scored 4 tries on 11 occasions, and you know, that I suppose sets us well for an open, exciting game this afternoon, because Melrose and all those championship wins you talk about have scored a lot of tries in their way. So hopefully 2 free-flowing teams. I think there'll be nerves at the start, but we're almost ready to welcome on at the field.
And you can see the players just coming out the tunnel on the far side there, and the Melrose team led out by their captain Fraser Thompson, who plays at full back for the Borders side. The rah-rah girls in the background just encouraging the players. The wee wave of their pom-poms and whatever it is they have. And Heriot will be out in the field. Just let me identify 1 or 2 of these Melrose players for you. Number 3 there is Ewan McQuillan, tight head prop, used to play for Gala. And alongside him was 14, Tito Mua. There's the Heriot's team. Glenn Bryce at full back, some pace in the backs with Charlie Simpson and Colin Gowdy on the wings, McNeish and Wilson at half back, and a very powerful pack up front. They're pleased to see Jack Turley back at number 5 there, the captain, and a strong breakaway trio of Jamie Ritchie, Jack McLean and Jason Hill. There's Melrose for you. Fraser Thompson, as I said, at full back, and Tito Mua, this lad who played for West Harbour Colts in the Australian under-19s, at number 14. Andrew Nagle, the former Jed player, at 12. Bruce Galvin, Nick Bevan and Todd Pearce are the front row, and a very good breakaway back row there with Neil Irvin Hess at 6, Grunciman at 7 and Graham Dodds at 8. So we're set here for the kick-off. Today's referee is Lloyd Linton. He's assisted by Andrew McMenemy, and I understand it's Duncan McClement who's going to be on the other touchline. Perfect conditions, and the man there in the middle, number 10 on the back of his black and yellow Melrose jersey, is Austin Lockington, formerly of the South African Sevens training squad. Watch this guy's sidestep if he gets half a chance. So, game on, and Lockington gets the game started. I just have the feeling, Chris, this is going to be a real hard battle up front. There's quite a lot at stake for these clubs.
Yeah, two quality teams, a lot of good execution and show the skill level, and already Melrose have won the ball back from that kick. They're looking to get wide. Melrose burst up the middle right away.
Great stuff. Grant Runciman there taking the ball forward for them. Here's Colvin. Out it goes to Lockington. Along the line to Thompson. Here's Nagel. Out in the left wing has got Joe Helps there, but Nagel is a big lad. 16 stones of him. There's the fight for the loose ball. Lloyd Linton brings them back for a misdemeanour away on the far side early on. But we get an initial impression, Chris, of the pace this game's going to be played at.
Yeah, absolutely. The infringement is a penalty. It's a high tackle, I think, on the far side against Heriot, but that's almost in the 5 metre channel on the far side of the field, and then the move ended up in our 5 metre channel at this side of the field. That shows you what Melrose are here to do. And interestingly, Andrew Nagel at 12 took the ball up really hard. He crashed it into the defence, trucked it up, as I said, and he's a back row player playing in the midfield, so that's his role. He has good skills. He's played in the centre as well, but more of a second row. And here's Joe Helps. I think he's going to have an attempt at goal here.
Well, he's got the wind. Let me just have a look at the flags. The wind's died, but I think it might just have been in his favour. And certainly Graham Wilson, the Heriot scrum half, who is their kicker, was kicking goals without any problem from that distance about an hour or so ago. So here's Joe Helps out on that far touchline. Good crowd here today. Lots of people up from Melrose to watch their team. And Helps needs this just to get the Melrose boys settled. That's going to be a bit short and off to the side. Caught and touched down. Colin Gowdy did that.
He just scooped underneath it a little bit there. Joe Helps hasn't played back after injury and hasn't played for a long time. It wasn't the worst of strikes. He just got underneath it a little bit and it just died short. I tell you what, if he struck that well, he's got more than enough range in him. And there's Heriot's kicker. He'll have a few shots at goal later on. Graham Simpson, he gets us restarted with 22.
Picked up by Fraser Thompson. Out it goes along the line. Lockington again. There's the big lad McQuillan with that black scrum cap. Quick ball for Melrose. Just almost in the Heriot's 10 area. Oh, and I think Bruce Colvin just overdid that one a wee bit. So easy in these early stages, just before you get your rhythm and you get settled down into the sort of momentum of the game.
Yeah, a little bit rushed there from Colvin. He's a good tough competitor, and he'll recover that, well from that. And actually, it was forced into by the strength of the Heriot's defence. You saw McQuillan taken up. He was really well tackled by Keith Buchan, and then after the result of that, Heriot's got the dominant line speed in defence and forced Melrose to kick, and the kick just went too far. Big Maul developing over on that stand side. Heriot seemed to have the better of it at the moment. Wilson waiting at the back. There's a penalty for Melrose, and they'll be delighted to get that. Yeah, it was Graham Dodds, wasn't it? Getting himself in a good position over the ball. Interesting to see making a tackle on his opposite number, Jamie Ritchie, and then staying over top of the ball, contesting it. The penalty was against Jamie Ritchie for holding on. And Lockington's knocked it into touch. So we've played something like 4 minutes. Yeah, there we are, just at the top of your screen on the left there. You'll see 4 minutes played. No scoring. And I think fair to say, Chris, that at the moment Melrose have had the better of the opening engagements. Dominated territory and possession, really. And there's another cracking line-out throw early on in the game, right to the tail of the line-out to set up a driving maul. And that was Neil Irvin Hess, the Scotland under-20s cap, who took it, number 6. Here's Colvin looking for runners. Tito Mua comes in off the right wing, gets knocked back. I think Melrose maybe beginning to win the breakdown battle in these very early stages. Yeah, it's so early on, isn't it? It's going one way and the other. You're looking to get settled into the match as quick as you can, and it's all very well for the forwards in there who've had 2 or 3 mauls and 1 or 2 pick and goes, a few tackles. But the backs, they want a touch of the ball as well. The first play from Melrose went wide, but there's so many players just desperate to get their hands on the ball, especially in a Premiership final. 5 minutes in, you're still looking to get settled into the game. So we'll see these guys as dangerous players later on in the match, but at the moment it's all about the big fellas up front.
Couple of big front rows. Nathan Burrell at loose head for Heriot. George Turner at hooker, and Struan Sesford, the big 19-stoner. You can just see him on this side of the Heriot's front row. George Turner with that yellowish coloured scrum cap on. And then on the Melrose front row, Nick Bevan is on this loose head side. Todd Pearce from Australia is the hooker. And Ewan McQuillan is on the far side. I think that's going to be a real battle. That little cameo there between the 6 of them in the front rows. There's Sesford pushed down, free kick. Goes Melrose's way. Struan Sesford just seemed to lose his footing there. He's a big lad. Sesford is 6'4".
He's tall as well, yeah.
Tight head.
And Melrose have opted from the free kick to take the scrum. And that was, you know, as you say, that there's a whole heap of weight and power and strength in there, but you need the technique as well. And these guys will be looking for the technique, looking to see what they can get away with. Sesford, as you say, is 6'4", and Bevan's a fair bit shorter opposite him, so he'll be looking to get underneath him and set a platform here for Melrose to launch an attack.
One or two problems in that set scrummage, and it shouldn't be with wet grass underfoot, because I've walked over that pitch several times before the match, and it's in perfect nick and it's dry. So, you know, anybody with a half decent stud would get a very good footing on that.
Yeah, it seems more to be the problem seems to be upper body as opposed to any traction on the ground. They're just, I say, nerves and trying to figure out what they can get away with, how close they can get.
I think Nick Bevan is getting very low on Struan Sesford on this side of the scrum, and has got the Heriot's tight head in a little bit of discomfort. There's a penalty for Melrose. And this is just the sort of, you know, the sussing out of each other, isn't it? It's the wee trials of strength, the one-to-ones, and then the set-piece units, the line out and the scrum, just assessing how the other team's going to go.
Yeah, and the penalty was one on the far side of the scrum from us, and on the Melrose tight head side, you've got Ewan McQuillan, who you've mentioned once or twice already, and he's short as well. He's a strong stock. He's almost a perfect shape for a front full forward. Terribly fit, terribly strong, but he was able to win the penalty that gives Joe Helps another opportunity from a similar angle, but maybe, 15 metres closer to posts, just outside the 22 on the right hand side, just outside the 15 metre line. So this is a difficult kick after he's missing his first attempt, but he's an experienced kicker, and the wind will help him in this one as well.
We'll just keep an eye on the assistant referees behind the crossbar in a second, once we follow this ball on its way towards the goalposts. Here's Joe Helps. That looks better, and the touch judges agree. The flags go up, and so after some 7 minutes, it's Heriot's 0, Melrose 3.
Yeah, good kick there, wasn't it, by Joe Helps? Just an awkward angle, but he chipped it over very well, and that gives Melrose a deserved lead, because they've dictated the territory, they've dominated territory and possession, and a good execution for the penalty gives them a 3-0 lead.
Graham Wilson gets the game underway. Beautiful take in mid-air there. I think that was big Lewis Carmichael. Ball went back. Lockington. This is... That was...
George Turner.
It was going to be George Turner. It certainly wasn't Colin Gowdy. There's the big hit up now by Jamie Ritchie. Better play from Heriot. Here they come. McNeish out along the line to steal. The wee grubber crick through, looking for Simpson. Oh, Fraser Thompson did well to get out of trouble. Bruce Colvin almost clears. Well retrieved by Gregor McNeish. Here goes Turner again. Good tackle in midfield. That again was Carmichael, this big, tall, lanky lad. Jason Hill got the ball, but it was slightly delayed, and he almost stopped before he got it. That's more like it by Heriot's. Melrose having to do a wee bit of defending. Scoreline at the top of your screen there. Gowdy feeds out. Here's McNeish. Gives it to one of the big guys. You take the hammering, he says.
Quite right too.
Wilson over the top. Here's Tito Mua. And a penalty for...
In at the side, I think.
In at the side, yeah.
In at the side, yeah. That little period of play was quite interesting. I think Heriot are back in the game. Interesting to see George Turner, number 2 there with the headgear on. He was in the backfield on a number of occasions. As you look back at the penalty, great tackle by Jamie Ritchie, low and hard. And as Lewis Carmichael comes in and drives across, he has to come in from behind the ball and drive straight over the ball. Came in from the right-hand side in the angle. And Heriot's quite rightly are given the penalty. But yeah, George Turner there, interesting to see tactically how they're using him. They're sitting him in the backfield, such a good skill set, such a good runner with the ball that when Melrose kick out defence, he's there to pick it up and run it back with a bit of vengeance.
Here's the man himself with ball in hand. There's the throw, lovely take. I think Ritchie took that. Hoisted high by the rest of his teammates. Now here's the driven maul by Heriots, which they can do very effectively. Much in the style of Edinburgh last night, as we saw against the Zebri. Listen to the Heriots crowd get in behind the team now. This is what they wanted. McNeish, huge pass. Gowdy has come right across. Chance here for Steele, lovely pick-up. Oh, and the pass goes astray. So that was more like it from Heriots, who have a tradition here at Goldenacre, Chris, of they like to play rugby which moves the ball around and gives it air.
They certainly do, and they tried that there knowing that they'd won the penalty. And this is the end of it as Glenn Bryce picks up, almost gets an outside his opposite number, Fraser Thompson, gets his hands free, and just that touch there from Helps takes it out of, was it Charlie Simpson's grasp? And he was the last man there, Joe Helps, so he did well. But the penalty from the initial drive and maul that Heriot set up really well goes to Heriot, as it was illegally brought down to ground as it was going towards the Melrose line.
Heriots take the kick to touch, but 12 minutes played here at Goldenacre, and Heriots leading Melrose, I beg your pardon, Melrose leading Heriots by 3 points to 0. And just another word of welcome to those of you who have joined us in this coverage of the BT Premiership Grand Final between Heriots and Melrose. There's the scoreline at the top of the screen. Heriots 0, Melrose 3, 12.5 minutes played. And Heriots pressing now. Graham Wilson. Oh, a great ball out to the midfield. Beautifully taken there. McNeish with a wee kick through. He should perhaps have held it. Oh, and 22 drop out.
Is he going back for a penalty?
Are they going back for a penalty? Yes, they are. Now, what's Lloyd Linton, who's today's referee, what has he seen there?
Pulling down the maul, which is saying this is the end of it again on the pictures. Gregor McNeish gets a wee bit isolated, dinks it over. It's actually well covered in the end by Todd Pearce, but he's touchdown. But the original penalty was pulling down the maul. So Heriot, as you say, they set up the last maul really well. I think Ritchie won it in the line out, and they got the ball transferred to the back. So they've got another opportunity just 6 or 7 yards out from the Melrose line.
Right, we'll just see who gets line-out ball from this George Turner throw. Up goes Jason Hill, beautifully taken. Turley's at the heart of that, the Heriots captain. Here's the line-out drive again, the driven maul. 3/4 coming in to join the big fellas. Over they go, try given. Let's see who gets up with it. It's a try that puts Heriots ahead.
It's Jack Turley, the captain.
It's Turley, the captain.
Yeah, it's two really good line-out balls from Heriot. Difficult to do, but what they've done in both of them is catch the ball and then get it moving forward quickly. There you can see the setup. The ball's at the back, it's under control, and then watch number 13 here, Liam Steele, and the rest of the 3/4. Once they see that the ball's moving forward, they decide, you know what, I'm going to join that, and I'm going to put my weight behind it. The control's there, the body position's good, and then there's just another wee surge. Turley with his hands on the ball, he manages to splinter off to the left and then drive through and over the line for the try.
Well rehearsed move there, Chris, by the Heriots back. There's big Jack Turley.
Yeah, he got the score. The captain leading by example, obviously, but that was a team try. That was just not only the pack, not only the 8 up front, but the backs involved as well. So first try of the game.
And Graham Wilson, who's kicked loads of goals over the years for Heriots and has been a tremendous asset to the club, will be looking to add 2 from this conversion attempt. Sun coming in just over his right shoulder there. Here he comes. That looks pretty good from here, and the touch judges agree. It's Heriot 7, Melrose 3.
Yeah, good conversion with Graham Wilson. Yeah, there's a certain inevitability about that. At this home pitch, he's a good kicker and good conditions. But the Heriots will be happy with how they've came back into the game. You know, up against it in the first 5 or 6 minutes, but certainly back in the game now.
Jason Hill waits, gets the ball. Away goes the big fella. Out it goes to Gowdy on the left wing. Wilson pops it out. Nathan Burrell takes it on. And there's another penalty against Melrose, I think, for not rolling away after the tackle.
Yeah, not rolling away. I think this time, is it Ewan McQuillan who's penalised? And that's good play by Heriot. The kickoff was slightly too long by Lockington, and it gave Heriot the opportunity to just take control of the situation. They didn't panic. They set up 2 or 3 rucks, and they've won the penalty that McNeish bangs into touch, and they're back in the Melrose half.
Gregor McNeish used to play his rugby in Dunfermline and scored a drop goal against Melrose in the 14-12 win for Melrose. Defeat for Heriots on that day, but that was back in January. One of the 2 times that the teams met in the Premiership, and Melrose won them both. 44-43 the first one, and 14-12 the second one. So I hope we get a 44-43 game today, Chris. Here we are, 7-3 at the moment.
Either or, they're both close. There's only a couple of points in it, and I think that'll be similar this afternoon. 2 good teams, as we keep saying, not a lot to separate them, but that time there, George Turner's throw was slightly squint, and it gives Melrose an opportunity. Melrose always had a domination in the early scrums. It'll be interesting to see if the forwards, because it's really important for front row forwards to learn from every scrum. And you know what you learn in the first or the second, where you're penalised, you can turn and put right, change some technicalities, and we'll see what comes out here.
Bruce Colvin pops it in for Melrose. Scrum goes down. John DL on the far side with the white tracksuit top on waves his arms in despair at that decision, but the referee gives the Heriots the penalty.
It's so difficult for referees. It's so difficult, but I tend to agree with John Dale's arms. If you can see it, I think from this angle, the far side to Heriots, the elbow hits the ground. Yeah. First, that's Nathan Burrell, so you know that can be an indication or a factor that we're far away. We're on the wrong side of the scrum, so let's not be critical of the referee. It's very, very difficult. But to me, it looked as if it was going down on the Heriots side, and the momentum was with Melrose.
Tell us, Chris, did you ever have to play in a scrum?
Not even in sevens, Bill.
Even by accident?
Not even in sevens.
There we go.
I wouldn't have lasted long. There's a great saying, there's piano pushers and piano players, Bill.
Okay. Andrew McMenemy with the flag there, just walking out the picture, and George Turner with the ball, throwing in. Hill takes it away at the tail, not straight. The throw was just off the straight there. And so they'll have a scrummage on the 15 metres line in from touch.
Another scrum. Be interesting to see what happens here, isn't it? It's a big part of the game. But the point I made just a minute or so ago, it's so important for these players to learn as you go. Learn from the scrum before, change it, you know, a wee technicality, get lower, or change your bind, or just learn as you go, because you don't want to get in a run of penalties against you. You're looking for a run of penalties for you, but you always change to try and learn and improve for the next scrum.
So there we are, great pictures we're able to get you this afternoon on this coverage coming from the BT Grand Final, the Premiership Grand Final. Melrose have got the nudge on there. The scrum's a bit of a mess, and Melrose get the penalty.
Melrose get this one, but that was actually a good contest for possession. I felt a good initial hit, good position initially from Heriot, and then Melrose counteracted and got the ball moving forward. But you know, they're coming up in the front rows again. But initially that was better. We certainly got a better showing, and the outcome is a penalty to Melrose. Have probably adjudged that Heriot have spun that, twisted that scrum round. We're back to the line out.
I feel the sides are still really assessing each other to some extent. Here they are with about 20 minutes played, and we're just about the end of the first quarter. And Heriot's penalised for collapsing the maul.
One of the key factors that coaches and players will look at is the number of penalties, the penalty count as it's known quite simply, and already both teams have conceded a few. You know, you're trying, the magic number is single figures, try and keep it under 10. If any more than 10 penalties, it's on the whole game, I must say, is a disappointing number. So I'm not got the stats with me, but it's already 4 or 5 each side. So, you know, the players are going to have to take that on board and try and commit few offences.
Here's Todd Pearce. Melrose's hooker throwing in. Turley got up there very well for Heriot's. Pinched that Melrose throw. And the Edinburgh side are in possession. Over the top by Graham Wilson. Tito Mua did very well there. Nagel along the line to Galbraith. Here's Lockington with a kick ahead. Always put that straight out, so they'll have to come back here almost to halfway. Just right on the halfway line, right down below us.
Yeah, disappointing outcome for Melrose and Austin Lockington there. He's a tremendous ball runner with ball in hand, he really is, and I'm surprised he kicked that. Good kick from Wilson, wonderfully taken by Tito Mua under pressure from Jamie Ritchie, and then Nagel got the pass away and it gave Lockington the opportunity to attack space. And I'm surprised he put boot to ball. The wind caught it and took it straight out, but I'm surprised he didn't take on the defence there.
Up goes Ritchie, great take for Heriot's. Wilson along the line to McNeish. Flat ball there to Charlie Simpson coming in. Very good ball out to Colin Gowdy. Gowdy with a kick ahead, straight out. So just a wee flash of inspiration there from Heriot's with a couple of missed passes midfield, and Colin Gowdy getting a half chance down that far left touchline. Yeah,
good play from both sides. Actually, a wonderful line-out delivery and passing from Heriot's, and actually well managed and well marshalled by the Melrose defence. You know, you're disappointed if Heriot's have been tackled at the touch, you've conceded possession, but good attack and good defence by both teams.
Pearce again, the 30-year-old from down under, throws in, right over the tail. Here they come again, great running by Heriot's. This is Jack McLean. Wilson burrows. We run, great timing of the pass there by Graham Wilson. His big henchman there, I think it was Jamie Ritchie, possibly number 6, who came around the side. Here goes McNeish. Keith Buchan. McNeish again, Steele. Out it goes along the line to Charlie Simpson. Simpson trying to cut in. Heriot's in a nice little passage of play here. Great run there. George Turner takes it through the middle. Longish passes, finding targets. Buchan under pressure. Gets away from Lockington. Wilson again providing the link. Here goes Ritchie. Jason Hill in there fighting for possession. Big tall fair-haired guy. There he is, just at the side of that right-hand side of the ruck. Heriot's again. Glenn Bryce, the Glasgow professional, away down that far left touchline. Melrose, to their credit, watertight at the moment.
Really good defence, tackle and competition for the ball by Melrose, making good decisions as well.
Excellent pass there, great pass by Turley, out to McLean. Here goes Bryce, Bryce with the legs pumping hard. Heriot's within sight of the Melrose try line. Cessford this time, the big 19-stoner. Here goes Hill, Hill for the try line, held up there and held up well by the Melrose defence. Now there's and McNeish just got caught before he unloaded. Penalty against Melrose. They're penalised for handling back after the tackle.
Yeah, well, there was God knows how many phases by Heriot. It's actually really well worked, kept possession, kept driving at the line, and then it came out to McNeish, who was actually well defended. Pearce came out of the line and he shut off the pass. It meant McNeish had to go, but then Pearce was just given the penalty away after making such a wonderful tackle. Couldn't resist the temptation of scooping the ball back with his hands, but a good number of phases by Heriot and really, really well defended by Melrose.
So up comes Graham Wilson with that's Lloyd Linton, today's referee, who's a a qualified doctor, but is gradually moving his way up the rugby refereeing ladder, which is not easy to do. And somebody away in the far touchline, is that young Runciman there who's taken a knock? Maybe Grant Runciman?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, the good defence by Melrose, and Runciman was at the heart of that as well. But they'll be disappointed that the end outcome was a penalty. I've spoken about the penalty count already, so they'll be disappointed that it gives Heriot an opportunity to pop it over. And on Heriot's point of view, they managed that quite well. They went wide a couple of times. They then brought it in, went in close. Jason Hill, Glenn Bryce had a charge at the line closer to the breakdown, so well managed.
All eyes on Graham Wilson now then as he lines this up to try to increase Heriot's lead. It's 7-3 at the moment for Heriot. Here's Wilson. Yeah, that's another good kick. The flags indicate 3 more points. And so Heriot's begin to stretch their lead just a little with that penalty. It's now Heriot's 10, Melrose 3.
Yeah, again, similar position for Graham Wilson, wasn't he? Chipped it over. He knows this field well. Melrose, they'll be looking to get their hands on the ball again after the initial 5-10 minutes. They've not had a lot of possession. They'll be looking to wrestle it back at the first opportunity.
Lockington again with a long drop taken by Liam Steele. This is an interesting lad, and I'll explain why in just a minute. Oh, look at the gliding running there by Steele. Intercepted by, that was big, James Head, who came back for Melrose. Nagel is in a bit of a guddle there, but he's managed to make some headway. Jason Hill comes to put the tackle in. Colvin now. Lockington. Out it goes to James Head. Head learned his rugby down in Devon. A very good player. Interception by Nathan Burrell for Heriot. There's the oomph as Heriot's hit that contact situation. Great play. Cessford along the line. Here's Turley. Here's the big lad Ritchie. And out on the side here is Keith Buchan. Hill plays scrum half. That's McLean. Look at the length of the passing there. That one beat Nathan Burrell in 1974. Remember Billy Steele of Langham and Bedford in the RAF? Undefeated in South Africa. Meanwhile, scrummage on the far side there, and I think that could have been for the ball maybe squirting out.
Yeah, the game's opened up a wee bit, hasn't it?
Of Colin Gowdy's hands.
Yeah,
aye.
so Liam Steele, a fantastic break of the kickoff, left foot step and took him away. And then, I don't know if there was a bit of sportsmanship or not, but the ball ended up in James's Head's hands. Whether he called for it, I'm not sure, but he certainly got it as Liam Steele popped it back inside. And then Melrose had an attack and exactly the same thing happened. Hugh McQuillan broke the line, got his hands free, he popped it up, and Nathan Burrell pinched it back. So that's, you know, the rule, the golden rule in offloading is if you can see the pass, give it. You know there's somebody to sight the pass, see it and give it. Don't give a blind pass, because exactly what happened here is exactly what happens. There's somebody there to pilfer it and steal it back for their side.
You'll have somebody like Brian Habana intercepting it if you give it without looking, that's for sure, or even if you do it with looking.
There's no much chance of catching him either.
Right, Jason Hill at number 8 for Heriot. There's the pickup. The tackle goes in by Runciman and by big Graham Dodds. Good play by Heriot's back there. The big boys are beginning to make their presence felt now. Turley back to Wilson. McNeish. That's nice running there by Keith Buchan. Here goes Glenn Bryce. Out it goes to Charlie Simpson. And again, Melrose having to do the defending, Chris. But I must say, Fraser Thompson did very well there.
He made the tackle, got to his feet and stole the ball. Great last-ditch defence by Fraser Thompson, but then they're penalised. Is it for holding on? Yeah, it's holding on, but he was so quick with the tackle and the steal that he was even too quick for his support players. I think we're going to see it, just the end of it here. Penalised for holding on. Number 7 for Heriot. Jack McLean gets in a good body position and prevents Melrose being able to release the ball.
So it's 10 points to 3. Heriots are leading. They've scored a try by Jack Turley, converted by Graham Wilson, and Graham Wilson has added that recent penalty just within the last couple of minutes. 10-3. Joe Helps kicked a penalty for Melrose to get things underway. And we're about 30 minutes into the first half, and off goes Ewan McQuillan. And I think it's Nicky Little who's come on for Melrose.
Do you see another driving maul here, do you think, Bill, if Heriot's are successful at the source?
It wouldn't surprise me. Hill takes it again. Some great jumping there by Jason Hill. He's a real stalwart for Heriot's in so many aspects of play. Oh, and a breakaway. The ball went forward.
Yes,
and that
Turner.
was George Turner.
Yeah, I think he'd done the hard work, actually. It looked as if Heriot again had managed to cause an initial inroad with a maul. It squirts off to the left-hand side, and then you can see the difficulty for the Melrose defence there. Do you come in, do you get out? And then George Turner goes for the line. I think that might be Tom Galbraith. Is it Tom Galbraith for the tackle? Or is it Runciman? Oh no, sorry, it's Joe Helps. It's Joe Helps who's standing in the first channel as a defender and puts a tackle in. But I think George Turner was a wee bit disappointed, didn't make the line and score the try there. Good defence by Melrose.
So just a wee pause for injury. Chris, here we are with about, what, half an hour gone in this game here at the Goldenacre today. In perfect conditions. Crowd have enjoyed it. Tell us about the ebb and the flow.
Well,
Who's had the advantage over that half hour?
Yeah, this is a really important point and time for Melrose. You know, Melrose started off better. They missed a long-range kick at goal, but then got ahead 3-0, and they dominated possession and territory and set piece at that point. Since then, Heriot have scored, you know, a try, a conversion, a penalty, and have stretched the lead to 10-3. And at these are crucial moments in the games. If Heriot can score here, or if it did score there, that puts the momentum and the score very much in their favour. So that was an important tackle by Joe Helps. So the momentum's with Heriot at the moment, but they've not capitalised fully by failing to score there. And this is a good opportunity for Melrose to clear the lines. Most of the game, especially, probably I'd say the last 25 minutes, has been down to our right-hand side in the Melrose half, and that's a good indication of how dominant Heriot have become.
Crowd behind the dead ball line there, watching very closely as Heriot's apply pressure on this Melrose scrum. Melrose have managed to hold, and they've won the penalty. It was the Heriot scrum that collapsed eventually, so there's a wee morale booster for the Borderers.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing there, Melrose. The ball was at the back. Bruce Colvine was never going to pass it because they had a dominant scrum, and they just kept pushing and pushing and won the penalty that Lockington's going to clear and almost hit us with. As you see, better setup, good body positions, ball down the middle, which is important, and then the pressure comes on. The hookers don't want to strike because taking a foot off the ground gives the momentum to the other side. The Melrose keep it there and win the penalty.
Todd Pearce there, number 2, and on for Melrose, Nicky Little, number 17. This is good running by Graham Dodds. Colvin waits. Bevan, the prop forward, banging into the Heriot's opposition. Of course, everybody complaining to the referee. Here's Galbraith. That's a lovely time pass there to Fraser Thompson. Thompson's away. Infield it goes to Helps. Great running by Melrose. Helps for the line. Thompson is there. Brilliant score by Melrose. What a reply by the Borderers. That was out of the top drawer. It's 10 points to 8 for Heriot's, but that was a brilliant try.
A brilliant try, Bill. Well created, well crafted, and certainly well finished. Out and outside channels. It's a beautiful pass by that man, Tom Galbraith, that started it. We're going to see this now. He just holds the ball. Really last minute stuff. Almost intercepted by Heriot, but watch the timing. A of the pass here, and then B of the run from Fraser Thompson, changing his angle, running at space, and acceleration comes on. And from here, this is really well finished. You can see, look how hard Joe Helps is working on the inside, gets the ball, carries it in 2 hands, and then I think that's Graham Wilson in the backfield defending. He's in no man's land because of support from Tom Galbraith, and then back to Fraser Thompson, the guy who broke the line to start with, supports and gets a try. Wonderful try by Melrose. Good rugby.
That really was a great piece of rugby. And conversion to come. It's going to be taken, I think, by Joe Helps again, who...
I think he took a knock just in the
Yes,
the build-up to a try, so he'll need to compose himself before he kicks the goal. But you know, really good play by Melrose. Tom Galbraith, who's playing 13, gave that wonderful pass to Fraser Thompson, who did most of the damage and then eventually scored it. But Tom Galbraith can play at 10 as well. He's played at 10 for the under-20s, so it brings a lot of value to the back line.
Here's Joe Helps, or rather that's the ball, and we'll see Joe Helps in a minute. There he is. Just wide on the left-hand side. So no further points for Melrose. They're only 2 points behind. Heriot's 10, Melrose 8. But that try has just changed the balance of the game a wee bit. It's been largely Heriot's possession away down to our right with the big forwards, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, that lovely break.
It came minutes after George Turner just failing. Joe Helps just stopping George Turner on the line, and that momentum swing we spoke about, Bill, is evident there. It takes Melrose right back into the game, 2 points in it.
Back it comes to Lockington. His inside is 22. That's a long kick. Bryce catches. Hill to his right. Bryce with a wee jink. Remember his try for Glasgow against Leinster in the 34-all draw just the other week. And here's Liam Steele, caught by Nagel and also by Galbraith. Wilson now. McLean. Heriot's back row has been very hard working today. Jamie Ritchie, Jack McLean and Jason Hill. Over the... Oh, Wilson, first charge down of the match. Gowdy gathers. This boy's got pace, but he's lost it. Advantage Melrose. Here comes Fraser Thompson again. Tremendous scrap for possession. Mua is going to be scrum half. And he's making a wee scrum half break up the side there.
All the backs are out and all the forwards are in at the moment, I think. Just roles reversed.
Oh, lovely take there by Glenn Bryce. That was a superb catch in mid-air by the big fullback. Wilson gets it right back to McNeish, and Gregor McNeish puts boot to ball, but Lockington is there for Melrose. Infield to Thompson, the try scorer. He's spied a bit of space deep, and Jason Hill is there to cover. Here comes Hill, trying to shrug off the first tackle. Bryce, oh, big dummy, but well held there by the Melrose follow-up. Here's McLean. Russell Nimmo's been very active as well. McNeish runs out of cover.
Here's an opportunity for Melrose, Bill.
Chance for Melrose. Nagel wants him to kick. Lockington goes. Here's Nagel now. Quick pass. Helps is clear. Pass must have gone forward.
Yeah, the pass from Nagel as a judge to going forward to Joe Helps, but that was a really good opportunity for Melrose. And one thing they're doing well is putting the kicker under pressure. It's very difficult for Heriot to get a decent, effective kick away because the kicker's been put under so much pressure. And you see they're charged in Wilson in the midfield. You saw McNeish being put under pressure once or twice in that phase there. And it's a small part of the game that can have big ramifications. And interestingly, Melrose have made a change in the back rows. As Runciman's gone off and Blake's come on. I wonder if that was a result of the bump that Runciman took. But you can see 21 there. Hugh Blake, he was one of the culprits or offenders that was putting so much pressure on the opposition kicker.
Scrum goes down, and that big lad just picking himself up in front of you there in the Heriot's colours is Struan Sesford, number 3, 19 stones 2 pounds. Big unit. Blowing a bit there, I think, is maybe finding it quite hard against this. No disrespect to him, but hard going against the Melrose scrum, who have been very nuggety and very physical in these front row confrontations. So let's watch Sesford this time as Graham Wilson pops the ball in. There's the straight back. He's got a better back this time. Good strike there by George Turner. Wilson gets it out to McNeish. Keith Buchan, long ball to Bryce. Bryce trying to break the line. Back it goes again. Steele. Wilson scooped it up brilliantly there. Jason Hill picked it up, but it was maybe knocked on. Here comes Fraser Thompson again. The chance here for Pearce. Then long passing along the line it goes. This is Irvin Hess. Colvin sets them off again. Lockington trying to sidestep. Melrose trying to open this game up a little bit now. Coming up to half time. Nagel. Caught by McNish and by Wilson. Lovely sidestep there by Joe Helps. Melrose very patient. That is a thumping tackle by Jack Turley, the Heriot's captain, on Todd Pearce, the Melrose hooker. That really was a jolter. Colin Gowdy has to cover, and he does very well. From the far away right wing, he came right, the left wing rather, came right across and cleared to touch.
Yeah, good set of defence there, this time from Heriot, and a good attack by Melrose, putting Heriot under pressure, but Heriot stood firm. There's one or two sore bodies as well there. And again, as you say, the game's opening up somewhat. They're going from one side of the pitch to the other. But most of the tries, the tries from Heriot have come from the set piece, from the tight stuff. The tries from Melrose have been in the outside channel, so they can see the tactics that the teams are trying to deploy.
Todd Pearce with a throw. Knocked back at the tail of the line out there. I think that...
And at the side again, I think, Bill.
Yeah. I'm just looking at numbers on the Melrose side. I see number 21 is on. We were told that was going to be Richard Mill, but I think, in fact, it is Hugh Blake, isn't it?
Hugh Blake, yeah.
Anyway, there's the whistle to indicate half-time. So, Chris, we've had a try apiece. Jack Turley for Heriot's. Fraser Thompson with a brilliant try for Melrose. We might be able to see that during the half-time period. And at the turn, Heriot's lead Melrose by 10 points to 8. There's nothing in it, really, is there?
Not a lot in it, no. And it's two good team tries and totally different senses of the word. The first one from Heriot was a team try. It was almost, I think it was a 12 or 13 man maul, keeping the ball under control, and eventually Captain Turley taking it over the line. And the second one was the Melrose try, the second try of the afternoon, was a wonderful wide attack by Melrose involving Tom Galbraith, involving Fraser Thompson, who broke the line initially, fed Helps, and then got it back. So all damage done in the outside channel for Melrose. And for Heriot, it's the grunt that we spoke about before the game, the physicality up front that's laying the platform. But 2 points in it at half time. It's a really, really close game and an enjoyable game to watch.
Who's caught your eye as being somebody who's managed to strike good form in these opening 40 minutes? Somebody who's really hit their game?
Well, I think leaders are always really important. And you know, as you see, the first try we spoke about before is Jack Turley. He scored a try, he also put a huge tackle in just at the end of that first half. So for Heriot, he has been impressive. As we just see the tour and the throwing and waiting for it. It's so easy to go off on your own in that situation if you've got the ball, but you have to keep your discipline, wait until you've got support either side of you to drive you over the line. You can't go off on your own, you'll be isolated, you'll be turned over. And that was Jack Turley's try, who's impressed me for Heriot, certainly in the first half. And this is a Melrose try. Now if you centre field, good place to attack, so you can attack right or left. Colvine gets a call from Tom Galbraith, and just watch this pass. He holds it, and there we go. There's the pace hitting the line. Fraser Thompson just coming on the inside of Russell Nemo and then getting the outside of Graham Wilson. It's a supporting inside of Helps. And I said in commentary I thought it was Wilson in the backfield, but that's McNish, and because Helps has a ball in two hands, he doesn't know what to do. The support from Tom Galbraith on the outside, the tackle's made. It's the outside support that gets it, Fraser Thompson. That was a really good try, scored from 50 yards out with pace, with power, precision, and that brought Melrose right back into the game.
It did. It was a great piece of team play, and it was to Melrose's credit, because really they'd weathered a tremendous amount of Heriot's forward pressure and width on the ball as well. The big Heriot's forwards pounding away at Melrose, and yet the slightly smaller Melrose pack holding out and just biding their time.
Yeah, the game ebbed and flowed, hasn't it? The early part we said was all Melrose, territorial-wise and possession. And that lasted maybe about 8 or 9 minutes, and then for the next 25 minutes it was all Heriot with the possession. And they mixed the game up well. Majority of the damage for Heriot was done in close and tight. But Gowdy's shown flashes on the outside. Glenn Bryce has worked hard to try and get his hands on the ball. Liam Steele had a fantastic break off the kick-off. So they've got a good balance to the game, but both coaches at the moment will be respectful of opposition, and they'll realise that this is a close game, and it'll be probably one big moment that will change the game. So you get over to your players to keep the focus, keep the concentration, stick to your systems, and they'll be looking for the that moment where you can add a bit of stardust to go over to cross line to break the game. But for the time being, because it's so close, because it's so tight, you've got to stick to your systems and trust the support of your team and the way you're designed to play.
Now, Chris, we've got another 40 minutes coming up shortly, but let's, Jack Turley almost took a leaf out of Roddy Grant's book from his two driven over tries last night in Edinburgh's win over the Zebra. So let's talk for a wee minute or two about Edinburgh and Glasgow. First of all, we understand that Glasgow have beaten Connaught this afternoon.
Yeah, I think it was 31-13 was the last update we got just as we went on air here. So that over in Galway, that's a great victory. 5 tries. So you get your 5 points there, the bonus point as well. So that'll take Glasgow to the top of the Guinness Pro 12 again, which is absolutely fantastic. And we know how well Glasgow have played for the last 2 or 3 seasons, and how much pressure they're under. When you're the form team, when you're are expected to win, there's a whole different amount of pressures on you. But they did it as well today with a couple of yellow cards against them. I think the reports coming back with Tommy Seymour ended up in the bin, and then Christopher Zara was in the bin. So to get a 5-point victory away at Connaught, who are a tough team to beat, as it continues the form that Glasgow are showing in the league, and they'll be pushing for that home semi-final. 2 games to come in the regular season. And Edinburgh won comfortably last night. It was 37-0, I think, in the end. Zebra didn't perform, but again, they're hard to beat. It's hard games to win these, and Edinburgh completely dominated, just as they did last week in the semi-final of the European Challenge Cup. Completely dominant up front, and laid the platform for them to play. Last night it was a wee bit more difficult to play against Zebra, but they were dominant up front, and their tries came from the driving mauls, and it puts them in a great position ahead of the semi-final next Friday night. And
as you say, Edinburgh have somehow and from somewhere become dominant up front. They're a very powerful front row with Alistair Dickinson and Ross Ford and Willem Nell. They've got a couple of bruisers in the second row in Toulis and big Anton Bressler. And the back row gets around. So where has this sudden physicality and this, tremendous, they get superior up front? How has this come about?
Yeah, well, hard work, Bill. It's hard work, and nothing happens suddenly. Well, very little happens suddenly in professional sport, and it's hard work's the key, and they've changed their game. Edinburgh, certainly the days when I used to play, we were probably criticised for playing too much rugby, being too open, and maybe the criticism of Edinburgh the last couple of years is they've gone, the opposite direction and played too little. But it's bearing fruit now, because they're setting the process as a long-term plan to become physical, to become dominant up front, to allow the players to open up, and that's what the players today will be playing for, the BT Premiership trophy. And a lot of the guys who've played for Edinburgh and Glasgow for the last couple of weeks and a couple of seasons will have lifted that trophy, will have been involved in days like this. So it's important to see the link between what the Heriot and Melrose players are doing and what happened earlier on in Galway and last night at Murrayfield.
Just harkening back to the Edinburgh-Glasgow thing, Edinburgh are still in Europe, albeit in the second tier in the Challenge Cup. Glasgow are out of Europe, but they still have the chance of winning the Guinness Pro 12 or coming second and having a home tie in the playoffs. And that home venue would be very, very important, would it not? It's so crucial, especially at knockout rugby time, to be at home. And last year, for those who were there or watched it or remember it, Glasgow had a home tie against Munster, and to this day it's still one of the most physical club games I've ever seen in any part of the world. It was brutal, and Glasgow came out on top. And if that was away from home, it would have been a whole lot tougher. The home support, your home comforts, your surroundings, the pressure that comes from playing at home as well is important. But you want everything to be on your side come knockout rugby, and the home advantage is crucial in any sport. So that's what Glasgow are pushing for. Who that will be, we're not entirely sure. I think Glasgow at the top at the moment. I think Ulster are second, Ospreys third, Munster fourth, or there or thereabout with games to go this afternoon. So
Leinster lost last night. Ulster beat them last night, so it looks as if they're in 5th position, may struggle, or whether it's still mathematically possible to reach top 4. So there's top sides, and you want to be playing the top sides at home, certainly.
And with loads of rugby to look forward to, because Edinburgh are in the Challenge Cup final next Friday, May the 8th, against Gloucester. And I know BBC Radio Scotland will be covering that. And then you've got Scots and Sevens on the Saturday, all the international colour of the Fijians, the Australians, the New Zealanders, the South Africans, all there. So you've got that on the Saturday and the Sunday. You've got a great weekend of rugby coming up next weekend as well. Yeah,
that's a cracking weekend, the Glasgow Sevens, isn't it? The 9th and 10th of May at Scotstoun. And Sevens is just a wonderful game, to watch, to be part of. Completely different atmosphere. Because it's a whole day event, so it's worth getting along to that. We saw how successful the Sevens were in the Commonwealth Games, and we'll be looking forward to the Glasgow Sevens at Scotstoun.
At the moment, Chris, I'm just looking at what I think is the most recent Guinness Pro 12 table. Glasgow are back on top, played 20, and they have 70 points. They're 3 points clear of Ulster at the moment. Munster and the Ospreys have a game in hand, and they are in the 60s.
Yeah, they're 3rd and 4th. So it's whoever you end up playing, it's going to be really, really, really tough. And then obviously, that if you finish top in the regular season or second, you get the home semi-final. Last year, if you finished top, you would have gotten the home final. But this year, the final venue has already been decided to Kingspan Stadium in Ulster, in Belfast, and Ulster could feature. So if they reach the final at their home turf, that would be a tough nut to crack as well. But 2 rounds left, including 2 more rounds of the regular season, and there'll be twists and turns before we figure out who's in that top 4. But you're right, Edinburgh play at Twickenham Stoop next Friday night against Gloucester in the European Challenge Cup, and that's a brilliant opportunity for a Scottish team to lift a European trophy. So,
how do you think Edinburgh will do in that?
I think they'll do pretty well. Most people expected Exeter to beat Gloucester in the semi-final. So I think Exeter, the way they've been playing, would have been a tough nut to crack. But Gloucester are a tough team as well. But I think Edinburgh, with the dominance we've spoken about up front, and the physicality, and just this wonderful opportunity to be the first team to win a European trophy, as we look back at the tries from the first half.
This is Jack Turley's, isn't it? Look at the drive there. I mean, that's copybook stuff, flat backs, big Jason's Hill sticking up there like a Belisha beacon. But nevertheless, everybody else absolutely hard in there, driving Melrose back.
You have to work together. As I said before, resist the temptation. If you've got your hands on the ball, to slip off the side of the ruck and go for the line, go for the goal yourself. You've got to have cohesion and the support of your teammates. And that was the first try of the day. It's the first try for Heriot, the only try so far. It was scored by their captain, Jack Turley.
Jack Turley scored that try. Graham Wilson converted it, and he added a penalty before Fraser Thompson managed to get the try for Melrose, which took them up to 8 points. But Thompson's try, which we saw earlier on in this half-time period, was fabulous.
It was a good try, and this Fraser leading Melrose back onto the side. It was so many good coaching points in it, the execution of the pass, the timing of his speed onto the ball, the timing onto the ball, but also the fact that he was involved twice. And Bill, you've coached hundreds upon thousands of kids rugby, and one thing I always say to the guys at Albert is if you've been involved, try and get a second touch. If you've given the ball, stay in the support line, try and get it back. And that was a great example of Fraser breaking the line, giving the pass, keeping the support line, getting it back and scoring a try. So that brought Melrose right back into it. The conversion was just narrowly missed, so we're at 10 points to 8. Heriot's leading Melrose at the start of the second half.
So the scene's set, and here at Goldenacre for the second period of 40 minutes, Heriot's with that very narrow 2-point advantage at 10 points to 8. And the crowd, who have rested and maybe had a cup of tea or a beer or something at half time, are ready for an entertaining 40-minute spell. The players just lining up and waiting, and it'll be Graham Wilson in the centre there who kicks out towards the Melrose pack. Neil Irvin Hess, number 6 on the back of his jersey. There's Lloyd Linton in charge of proceedings today. Here come Heriot. Long kick off by Wilson. Oh, he's overshot there, and that's just been a wee bit too much in that kick. Back they come to the centre, and the initial advantage gone from Heriot to Melrose.
Yeah, you're looking for a good start to the second half, but it's, you know, now this gives a wonderful attacking opportunity for Melrose. The scrum was, I would say, probably the dominant scrum in the first half. Certainly won most of the penalties at scrum time, and if they can get dominant scrum here, Melrose have the opportunity. Obviously they can kick and find the space in behind, but with Austin Lockington at first receiver on one side of the scrum and Fraser Thompson at the other, there's two pretty good ball runners, with skillful players who can influence the game early on in this second half.
So here is the first scrimmage then of the second period, right on the halfway line. Melrose leading 10-8. Scrum goes down on this side, Nicky Little's side.
Yeah, good refereeing that, isn't it? You know, so often the referees are quick to penalise or a free kick. That was just a slip, maybe just an initial slip of the binding that took it down. There was no pressure, there was no danger to the players, so good refereeing to reset, and hopefully we'll get going off this one.
There's Nick Bevan actually on this side, not Nicky Little's on the far side of the Melrose scrimmage. So Bevan against Borrell. Ooh, that's a good nudge there by Melrose to clear it away. Well done by Graham Dodds. Here goes Thompson again, who's suddenly found a yard of pace. He's never been slow, but he's very sharp this afternoon. Graham Wilson, Fraser McNeish under a bit of trouble. Kicks long, Dodds heaves it into midfield. Lockington plays football with it. Stretching the Heriot's cover. Glenn Bryce can do nothing with that one. That's a very well placed kick by Austin Lockington there. The little Melrose standoff. Glenn Bryce just walking back there, who's a pro with Glasgow. Played a bit of rugby with Jersey and with Doncaster.
Yeah, good player Glenn Bryce, and no matter how good you are, it's very difficult to pick up the ball or field the ball when the kick's so good as Austin Lockington was there, just inches from the touchline.
Now George Turnell has to be pinpoint accurate with this one. Andrew McMenemy just having a wee bit of advice there.
Wonder what he said to him. It's going back again. The usual is put it in the middle.
That's a very accurate throw, well taken at the tail. Jamie Ritchie got that. Hill comes in, and Russell Nimmo comes powering in to help as well. Heriot's trying to drive this maul upfield. It's a little bit ragged at the moment. They just need to get it stabilised. They've still got possession. And Lloyd Linton gives that penalty against Melrose. It looked as though he was saying for breaking up. Not quite sure what that was all about.
It's an interesting debate on the laws in the maul, because if you voluntarily leave the maul, or when each of the players have left the initial mauls, if all the players leave the maul and the maul continues, that one's that's for tackling the maul. You're not allowed to do that, but quite rightly, you can't come in for a side and tackle the ball kind of collapse in the maul. But if Melrose were to leave the maul and then rejoin it, and Heriot still had the ball at the back, it would be a penalty for obstruction. I thought that's maybe what it was going to, but it was a tackle of the player in the maul, which isn't allowed.
Great ball for Turley in the line out. Here goes Hill again, trying to carve his way through between Lockington and the back row. Here come Melrose with a great turnover. Dodds, Blake, great running, turnover for Heriot. McNeish. Bryce on the far side. It's a big strong lad, Glenn Bryce. He can take the ball and hold it up. There's the wee kick down the line there by Charlie Simpson. Lockington again. Oh, and he's been caught at just one sidestep too many perhaps there. great club game of rugby, Chris. It's been very interesting.
It has, and it's so close as well. There's so many subplots within it, and turnovers and line breaks and good pieces of attack and defence. Really enjoyable.
There's Jason Hill had to gallop back to get that one, and Glenn Bryce aims for touch, but he hasn't found it. Caught by Bruce Colvin. Infield it comes to Dodds, along the line to Lockington again. There's the sidestep, taking him away from Gowdy. Colvin over the top. Great ball, lovely kick.
Yeah, Melrose have found a bit of space in this bottom right-hand corner, haven't they? You're so open the last sort of minute or so, or minute and a half, phase play of rugby, and then just a wee bit quality right at the end from Colvin to find this corner where it all started 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Lovely take again by Turley. Heriots have the advantage of possession here, close to their try line. Wilson clears. Yeah, that's got them out the 22.
It's the Melrose set piece is picked up, from where it was early on in the first half, at the sort of line out, where Heriots were getting a dominance. But as you can see there, a cracking throw and a good drive from Melrose is getting them back in the game.
Lewis Carmichael was at the heart of that one there. But Heriots have done well to turn it over. Graham Wilson chips half ahead. Turner is there. Here's Tito Mua. He's got a clear run to the line. Look at the sidestep from this guy. That's another scorching try by Melrose. That puts them ahead for the second time in this game. It's Heriots 10, Melrose 13, and Tito Mua adds a brilliant individual try.
He's been so quiet in the game, but that's exactly the danger that he brings. The damage was done already as we see him watch a step off the left foot, bang, right away, and then drives away from the tackle of McLean to score. But the damage was done before that. He picked up a wonderful ball, bouncing ball from a short Graham Wilson box kick, beat 2 players. I think it was Jamie Ritchie and potentially George Turner as well, right through the middle between them, and then there's no stopping him. Been so quiet in the first half, but that's the quality that he possesses, and he scores Melrose a second try.
It was a slightly iffy clearance kick, I thought, by Graham Wilson. I don't know quite what he meant to do with that.
It was one where it's a risky kick. Tito Mua was sitting, back in a normal position, and what he's trying to do is find the space between the front line defender and the second line defender, and at that point you're hoping for a good bounce. The bounce went to Melrose, and the finish went to Melrose.
Well, there you are. I don't think I've seen that done in 30 to 40 years, that somebody actually was up quick enough to charge down the conversion attempt, and the man who got up was Colin Gowdy, and that has saved 2 points for Heriots, and who knows, at the end of this game that might be crucial. Look at this.
Yes.
Look.
Yeah, the charge didn't. It's happened. You mustn't have been watching. It happened to me, Bell, against Ireland once at Murrayfield, but I'm pleased you've forgotten.
Okay, well, 30 years ago. Maybe not. What happened when you were, what?
I just took too long. It was actually Dennis Hickey, and here's a yellow card.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Here's a yellow card. There was a clearance kick by Helps. From the kickoff,
yeah.
Joe Helps caught the ball, clearance kicked it, and then the charge then followed through. I don't think there was a lot in it.
Keith Buchan.
Is it Keith Buchan? He obviously missed the charge down, but continued through Joe Helps. It was split second stuff, but the touch's flag went up, and the referees decided that it was a penalty and a yellow card. It'd be good to see that again.
And there's Lloyd Linton, today's referee.
So the penalty's from where the kick was taken. But there was it's a shoulder charge. Maybe it's because there was no arms. It looked as if it was charged in an attempt that it didn't get and then followed through and hit the player. But if there was no arms involved, then it would be deemed as a shoulder charge, and if it was late, it'd be a yellow card. But it'd be good to see that again.
So this is a time of distinct advantage then for Melrose, with Heriots down to 14 men. One of their centres, Keith Buchan, in the sin bin. And there's that big lad, the 6'5" Lewis Carmichael, taking line-out ball, and Heriot's pinged, as they say, for a line-out infringement. And so suddenly the tide has turned in Melrose's favour. I think that's Richard Mill who's at standoff there with the wee black helmet.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Richard Mill's on.
Is this the incident?
This is the line-out penalty. I think it's for touching the man or pulling the man down in the air, is it? Or pulling him. Or is it stepping across the line? I'm not sure. Richard Mill, Lockington's still on. I'm looking for who's not there. Maybe, is it Fraser Thompson? No, Fraser Thompson's still there. Lockington's in the backfield. Has
Lockington gone out the wing instead of Helps, perhaps? Can't see Joe Helps.
Yeah, that's maybe what it was, yeah. Maybe from that collision. But it's Richard Mill who tees up the ball now.
And used to play for Heriot. Here is Richard Mill for Melrose now, with a 3 points if he can get the kick over. Oh, he's pushed that one away wide on the right hand side, so he's just come on the field and has obviously not found time to get his rhythm and get sorted, but it's still Heriot's 10, Melrose 13. Melrose now with 2 cracking tries, the first by Fraser Thompson just before half-time, and the second by Tito Mua just after half-time. Here's that kick again by Richard Mill. And just close by, not too far away. There's another charge down. Mill gets charged down this time. Heriot's flood forward. Lockington plays scrum half. Colvin's back, there he is. Richard Mill. Very adept at sevens as well, Richard Mill. And there's another penalty to Melrose.
Yeah, Heriot's offside.
Offside.
Yeah, offside. Just getting a little bit of success, or quite a lot of success, from a charge down in the previous couple of rucks. So at that time we're just too eager to put the kicker under pressure.
Advantage for Melrose. And this, of course, is the BT Premiership Grand Final. There is no sort of runner-up trophy in this. It's winner takes all. Melrose, of course, the defending champions, having won the title way back 2014, and a couple of years before that, 2012. 2011 they won it, my goodness. And suddenly the crowd gets involved in this action here. Here's McNeish along the line, great piece of running there. Turley. Bodies being heaved out the road in the fight for possession, but Melrose have won that one. Out it comes to Mill along the line to Thompson. Thompson kicks long away downfield. Bryce had come up, the fullback had come up, and so it's back there for Gregor McNeish to put the kick in to clear. Now that's wayward as well, and this could be an opportunity for Melrose. Mill again from Dodds, Lockington. Is that a knock on there by Heriot's? Advantage being played, I think. Quick ball, here comes Colvin again to Mill. Then the drive on by big James Head, the big 25-year-old. Well, that's a good kick by Lockington. That really is a good kick, and that's got the Melrose management on the touchlines there applauding and in approval.
Yeah, Melrose have actually found a bit of joy from the short kick, the short attacking kick. The long kicks Heriot have dealt with really well, but as you can see there, Lockington took the ball to the line, didn't kick early, which means the defence have to engage, they have to respect you in case you're going to run, and then as the wing and the fullback come up, you just pop it in behind. Some good play by Lockington, some good kicks.
Gregor McNeish, number 10 for Heriot's, is replaced by Stuart Edwards, number 21. Melrose, meanwhile, apply the pressure. I think they can sense that they have a very good opportunity here to get more points on the board. Back it comes from Graham Wilson to the pack. Great clearance kick by Wilson if it finds touch. That's a very, very good kick by the Edinburgh scrum half.
Yeah, it's all the experience in the world there, Graham Wilson. Yards from your own goal line and takes it up almost to the 10-metre line. A fantastic kick by Graham Wilson. You see, just almost in the goal line. Under a lot of pressure. Clears the ball 40 metres and into touch.
Dodd Pearce just waiting for this line out to settle down. There we are. Carmichael with a blue scrum cap on, but at this time it's Graham Dodds. Dodds always has very secure hands. Thumping tackles there by Heriots. Melrose have still got ball, but they haven't released. And so, advantage goes to Heriots. Remember, they're down to 14 men because Keith Buchan is in the sin bin.
Yeah, good defence from the line out there by, again, George Turner putting a fantastic tackle in, and I think, I'm not sure who is it, it's maybe Jack Turley again over the ball, winning the space. Jamie Ritchie will be in there as well. And it's important to manage the time that you lose a player to the sin bin. It's important to almost dictate when you throw the ball at the line. You can see here Heriots taking all the time in the world to get to the touchline, eating the clock away. You don't want to rush anything when you're down to 14 men.
Here's George Turner then. Very messy line out, ball bouncing around. Melrose fighting tigerishly. Dodds in midfield, Lockington to Nagle. Nagle trying to break. Gets the ball back. Jason Hill's there. Hill hacks on. Quick recovery there. Fraser Thompson under pressure. Colvin. This is Hugh Blake. Blake with a wee sidestep looking for the offload. Lovely deft flick by Bruce Colvin to Nicky Little. Secure passing. Oh, not such secure kicking. Richard Mill comes back. Oh, that's a good kick. Richard Mill just eased that. It dropped about a metre off the touchline and bounced into touch. Exactly right. And just got Melrose stabilised again.
Yeah, had a wee nervous look just as it left his boot. I watched him and he was nervously glancing, but in the end,
look at that.
Wonderfully judged, just out of the reach of Graham Wilson. And then again a good kick from Melrose, putting a lot of pressure on Heriots. This short kicking game's been successful again for Melrose.
Glorious day here at Goldenacre. There is a breeze, but nothing really to bother the players. Top of the ground conditions. Up go the jumpers. Russell Nimmo trying to get it for Heriots. Can't manage.
The defensive line at Melrose has been really impressive, hasn't it? I think that's maybe 3 or 4 at least in the second half, and there was a good 3 or 4 in the first half as well. They're putting a lot of pressure on George Turner there with the ball, getting a loose Carmichael up there, Neil Evan Hess up there, James Head up, blocking off the options for Heriot.
Danny Levison has come on for Heriots as well. We'll find out who else has gone off. Melrose in with the advantage of possession. Colvin, great hands out to Little. Just the take and the give by the big prop. Crossing over though by Melrose.
Yeah, he's pointing at Nicky Little. Lloyd Linton, the referee, whether he got in front of the ball carrier or Nicky Little, I must admit, looked rather perplexed. But the net result is the penalty to Heriot. Stuart Edwards has used the wind with a wonderful kick to this near side touch, and the wind's getting up again a wee bit, Bill, and it's coming down this way to this touch, and see the touch judge flag there. And Stuart Edwards used that well, used the wind sensibly. Andrew McMahon in his touch flag used it well. Keith Buchan returning, so that's Heriots back to 15 players in the field. They've managed that period reasonably well.
And we find ourselves there with almost into the last quarter of this Premiership Grand Final. Not much in it. When the two teams played in the Premiership early in the season, Melrose beat Heriots 44-43 in October, and then they beat Heriots 14-12 in January. So there's not been much in it. Wilson to Ritchie. Jamie Ritchie, Scotland under-20 cap, Edinburgh Pro, former schoolboy at Strathallan. That was Levison. There's Turley, the big guy. Oh, and a lovely pick-up there. Hugh Blake, number 21.
Yeah, both teams just trying to force it a wee bit. This is, you know, your last 20 minutes, last quarter of the game, and both teams are looking for that bit of stardust, that bit of spark to put their team in a good position. But it's most of the decisions or most of the actions are resulting in turnovers. So there's 2 or 3 forced offloads. There's possession being turned over left and right. So this is where you need your leaders to step up within your side and say, listen, let's not force this. There's 20 minutes to go. There's only 3 points in it. Build the pressure in their position. Don't try and score with the first touch of the ball.
Meanwhile, off picture, it's like an accident, an emergency place. There are players getting bleeding noses and sore legs being attended to.
Yeah, it's part of the game, unfortunately.
It is.
Knocks and bumps at these guys, the medical staff, all these clubs are fantastic. It's also a sign of the stage of the season we're at as well. I mean, these guys have been playing since August. You know,
it's a long time,
season,
isn't it?
It's a long season. The training sessions are demanding. You know, almost all of them will be working. I see Jamie Ritchie's a bleeding nose. The way to get that pitch patched up and fixed up. So it's a long season, and it's credit to everyone out there, the effort and the commitment they put in, as I say, the playing, but also the medical staff, the coaches staff as well. It's great to see such a great product at the end of a long season.
Murdo McAndrew on the far side of that scrum in the Melrose jersey. In there, you can just see his head. He's come on as replacement scrum half for Bruce Colvin. There he is, Murdo McAndrew. Howe Fife and Clermont. Scotland under 19s and under 20s, I think, as well.
Under 20s last season, yeah.
Under 18s and under 20s, rather. So fresh legs on at the base of the scrummage for Melrose, and the big men still there. Todd Pearce and Nick Bevan.
It's important to get hold of the game. You know, I mentioned that, but and how do you do that? You get that by, you know, building the phases. Neither of these teams have held the ball for a long period in the second half.
Oh, there's a penalty for Heriots now. This is on the Melrose 10 metres line. Nicky Little walking back there, just a wee bit perplexed about the reason for that. But the point I make is that earlier on, Graham Wilson was popping them over from this distance and further back before the game even started in preparation. So distance should not be a problem for this man.
I don't think so, with the wind in his favour as well, and it's almost in the centre of the field, off to the right a little bit, but that probably favours the wind as well. The wind's almost at the exact angle, so a big kick, this would draw Heriot's level.
It would indeed. It would level it at 13-13 with, what, 16 and a half minutes to go. Wow. All eyes on the Heriot scrum half, Graham Wilson. No, he's pushed it wide. It's gone wide. There was a bit of a groan from the stand from those people who were looking from behind him. So it remains a 3-point advantage for Melrose. Heriot's 10, Melrose 13.
Yeah, just off the right. Wasn't, I think he expected the wind to affect it a little more than it did, but as I was saying before, one of these teams needs to take the game to the scruff of the neck and control possession for a long period to get themselves into the commanding position.
Neil Irvin Hess has left the field and looks as though he's been replaced for the remainder of the match. We'll find out who's taken over from him. Possibly Peter Eccles.
Peter Eccles, just with the ball in his hand, number 18, and that was a case in point. Really, Melrose worked a short 22 quite successfully. Nick Bevan taking it and keeping possession, and then after one phase they've turned it over, they've knocked it on in contact, and from the penalty miss from Heriot, this is now a really good opportunity for them to build possession. A wide scrum on the right hand side. We know how much Heriot's like to play the wide expansive game, so that if they can get a quality set piece and a stable set piece here, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see Glenn Bryce and Colin Gowdy out here on the left-hand side getting their hands on the ball.
Quick ball to Wilson. There goes Heriot's three-quarter line. Here comes Bryce, chased by Mua, who is across very quickly there. Taken on again, Jamie Ritchie. Wilson burrows in. Stuart Edwards at standoff, remember, because he's replaced Gregor McNeish for Heriots. This is Russell Nimmo. Out it goes to Jason Hill. Burrell is there to help him. Wilson again. Nimmo another time. Body's being banged and thumped out the road. And a little bit impetus there as George Turner takes it forward. Heriots again up that far right-hand side. It's all about possession and patience. Turner. Closer and closer to the Melrose try line come Heriots. Nimmo. Bryce. Bryce is there. That's a great try for Heriots by Glenn Bryce. Russell Nimmo gave him the scoring pass and Bryce managed to get over. It's 15-13 for Heriots. The pendulum swings back.
Yeah, the beauty of keeping possession. That must have been a 12, 13, 14 phase play there from Heriots. A lot of the work done up front. The grunt, Sessward, especially George Turner carrying the ball. As you see him here, taking it off Wilson. He puts pace on every carry, George Turner. Well tackled there by Pearce, but the Heriots boys get quick ball. And you can see there's more Heriots attackers than there are Melrose defenders on this side of the mall. Again, I think that's Nimmo taking in a lovely slip pass to Glenn Bryce, whose timing on the ball is as good as Thompson was in the first half. He makes the line and scores. So quality possession, quality territory, and good execution by Heriots puts him ahead. Watch this pass here from, well, this is Turner taking it hard at the line. And then you've got Russell Nimmo's slip pass to Glenn Bryce before Graham Wilson takes on the conversion.
Graham Wilson waits till we've seen that replay again, and his kick curls through between the uprights. 17-13 for Heriots. It just went in and no more, but it was a very well taken try.
Yeah, wonderful pass by Nimmo, flat at the line, under pressure. And then Glenn Bryce, actually, we saw that final angle, still had a lot to do. He broke the tackle and then stretched to the line. Good score.
Richard Mill restarts. Jason Hill. Hill's such a gladiator in these situations. What a competitor. And Wilson, the Aldheed, back it goes. Stuart Edwards. It was taken back into the 22, so he has to. He can't kick it directly to touch. He kicks long. Fraser Thompson. Hill again. Up he goes. Great take. Fine tackle there. Peter Eccles in. Wilson over the top. Chance here. Turner. Oh, it landed on the line. It's out. Just millimetres away.
Desperate and lucky from Wilson. Knew exactly what he was doing. He recognised that the player that fielded the ball from Melrose and then kicked it high before Hill caught was Fraser Thompson, and he knew he was in the tackle. The space was there, but the ball just hit the line. That could be a big momentum swing for Melrose.
Melrose line out. Nicky Little at 1. Lewis Carmichael at 2. Then you've got James Head at 3. Ooh, was he taken out in the line out? I think he was. Interesting to see a replay of that line out, if it's at all possible. Jack Turley says it wasn't me, and it was in fact Danny Levison. Here's the line out again.
Yeah, you can see that Levinson there second in the line for Heriots is accused of pulling down as Lewis Carmichael goes up. The initial contact is on the arm, and he has all this contact in the air. I think he realises what he's doing. Daniel Levinson pulls out of it, but there was contact in there. You can't do that. And quite right, the penalty was awarded to Melrose.
The joys of the replay. There is no escape.
It's easy. It's easy for us. It's hard for the referee, and Andrew McMenemy, the assistant referee there, helped Lloyd Linton. It's just good to see these guys working as a team as well.
Again, Pearce throws. There's the Melrose drive. Remember, it's Heriot's in the lead now at 17-13. There's the scoreline at the top of your screen. And that is Murdo McAndrew whipping it away. There he is, number 20. Just a wee 21-year-old. Taken on again, Nicky Little. Melrose with territorial advantage, pressing hard. The great fight for possession at the breakdown. Nagel takes it in. McAndrew again, Little as first receiver. Difficult man to dispossess, Nicky Little. That, I think, was Todd Pearce. Almost a turnover, but not quite. Dodds, lovely ball. Chance here for Melrose on the far touchline. Thumping tackles.
Tackles Jamie Ritchie on Peter Eccles. Huge collision.
Melrose cranking up the tempo and the momentum. 8.5 minutes to go. When the ball squirts out, and it came out illegally, offside.
That's an impressive piece of defending from Heriot. Melrose, credit to them. They're throwing everything at the Heriot's defensive line, and defensive line of Heriot is coming forward and meeting them. Lloyd Linton's going to have a word with Captain Jack Turnley. He's pointing at Jamie Ritchie as well, I think. I don't know what they're saying, but I think it'll be, the number of penalties are mounting up. Thinking about how close to your own goal line you are, you've got to stay squeaky clean. I think the next one will be a sin binning if it's a penalty conceded by Heriot. But they don't have to concede penalties because their defence there was outstanding against some fierce pressure from Melrose, and that's what Jack Turley will be saying to Jason Hill and the rest of the guys there. Trust your defence. No penalties. Trust your discipline, because Melrose are knocking on the door here.
And of course a penalty would not get Melrose back in the lead. They would still be behind by 1 point. It's 17-13 for Heriots at the moment. And as you can see, the game being played in glorious conditions at Goldenacre in Edinburgh. Lovely day here.
It's forecast sleep, Bill.
Aye, well, there was plenty of rain in Jedburgh this morning, I can tell you. Todd Pearce throws, Lewis Carmichael gathers. Now what can the Borderers do here? The ball is in there somewhere. Here it comes. That was McAndrew. Another wee pod of players takes it up. Here's Richard Mill. Out wide it comes to Galbraith. Galbraith gets blasted on the deck. Bryce gets up and covers quickly. Hugh Blake did well to release when he was tackled and get back up again. Clever player, clever play. Lockington with a wee dummy. Looking for a player inside. Tremendous pressure by Melrose. Carmichael now. McAndrew with a nice pass. There goes Hugh Blake again. This wing forward from Otago certainly likes to get into the heavy artillery stuff, the heavy traffic. Heriot's been blasted off the ball now by Melrose. Chance here for, is that Nagel? Nagel's there. Andrew Nagel has scored for Melrose. It puts Melrose a point ahead. Heriot 17, Melrose 18, and the conversion is to come.
Yeah, the pressure coming from Melrose and the ball carries was fantastic, but equally so right until the final play was a defence. Some of the defence from the Heriot players is so courageous, so brave, but it was a quality pass from Richard Mill and a pace onto the ball from Andrew Nagel and a nice angle that took him over the line. This is after 10, 12, 13 phases, every one of them challenging the Heriot's defensive line. But when the ball comes out to Richard Mill, he delays his pass, and you just see Andrew Nagel there, normal in the back row, playing in the centre today, hitting the ball at pace and reaching the line to put Melrose ahead. You can see there's just so many Heriot's defenders on this side of the ruck and maul, worn out with a number of phases, a number of tackles they've had to put in. And Melrose keep their width. And Nagle hits the ball at pace. A big man, it's hard to stop. Drives into the space and finishes off for Melrose. A good score. There we go, reaching for the line.
Richard Mill always put it over.
And the conversion's good.
So, the pendulum swings back in Melrose's favour as Richard Mill adds the 2 points for the conversion, and the scoreboard tells us it's now Heriot 17, Melrose 20. What can the home side do to turn the tide? What a grand final this has been. Murdo McAndrew over the top. Wilson waits. Blake has him.
The penalty advantage to Heriot's Bill.
Heriot's pick up. And away goes Nimmo with a ball out there to Stuart Edwards in midfield. Liam Steele trying to... Oh, Steele absolutely bundled on the deck by Galbraith.
I don't think he's called advantage over yet either.
No. George Turner, who's been absolutely tireless for Heriots today. Wilson back in field. Is that Nathan Burrell? Here come Heriots. Edwards along the line. Steele looking for a half gap. Ball squirted out of his hands. That went forward, and Andrew McMenemy down below us there just had a wee word on his radio with Lloyd Linton.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, Bill. There was a penalty advantage. There was 2 Melrose players in front of Murdo McAndrew's box kick, and Lloyd Linton, we heard him from here, saying that to the Heriots players, and it was almost exactly where they are. Heriots kept playing, and then obviously played through their advantage. I'm sure that Phil Smith and Stevie Laurie, the Heriots coaching staff, would rather they maybe took the penalty. Was it within range, or maybe even dropped it in the corner? It's you know, good to see them trying to play, but to see somebody.
Austin Lockington, I think, is being assisted from the field.
Yeah, so the net result was some really good fierce defence, and Melrose winning them the turnover, but I think Heriots will be kicking themselves that they didn't pay more attention to the referee.
So the advantage with Melrose to the left of picture in their familiar and traditional black and yellow. And they lead now by 20 points to 17. Oh, and they've won this ball in the scrummage. Scrum collapsed. I thought Melrose had managed to get the nudge on there.
Yeah, they're moving forward. Melrose, the ball sort of hovered in the tunnel just for a fraction of a second, and then the secondary shove came on. And Melrose will be quite happy, as we say, just a minute and a half to go, or just over a minute and a half to go here. They'll be happy with where they are, centre field, and control of possession. Control of the scoreboard.
Heriots will be hoping they can somehow or other engineer a penalty for Graham Wilson, because he can't pop them over from this distance. I think it's right at the edge of his limits, but I've seen him do it, and that would level it. However, at the moment, Melrose have the advantage. They've scored, what, 3 tries, three great tries. Graham Dodds leads out. There goes McAndrew. McAndrew's away. A wee dummy, but well brought down by Bryce. Tito Mua in there for Melrose. Then it's a way wide ball. Nagle. He's a strong lad, Andrew Nagle. 16 stones of him. Doesn't look it, but he is. And then Galbraith. Hutchison out on that left wing now. Peter Eccles takes it forward. Peter Eccles scored 3 tries against Melrose in that 44-43 win. Scored 3 tries for Melrose, I should say.
He's
in
been
that 44-43 win away back in October.
Sorry, he's been impressive since he's came on as well. He's hit hard in the tackle. He's carried hard with ball in hand. He's had a big impact.
Melrose again launching it up the narrow side. McAndrew just adding the link between the big boys and the runners wide out. And they're running the clock down now. James Head takes that one forward. McAndrew again to another wee pod of players. Hugh Blake this time with Lewis Carmichael beside him. Agitated Melrose support on the touchline.
It's clever play by Melrose. They're keeping it under control. They're going, zigzagging from 10 metres one way, 10 metres other, so there's always support around the ball carrier. Managing the game well.
James Head did very well there. Here's Thompson, chance here for Galbraith perhaps. Out it goes to Tito Mua, over the winger's head. He is so dangerous, this big lad, who started off his rugby away back in Australia. There he is, just running back out of the picture.
It's well managed by Melrose. They kept the ball, kept possession, didn't put too much adventures onto the ball until they knew that they'd sucked the Heriot's defence in, and there was actually a good opportunity there for Tito Moore if he'd held the pass. See, Tom Galbraith got on the outside, delivered a good pass, but if Tito Moore just stayed out 2 or 3 yards wider, put more pressure on Colin Gowdy, on that left wing, I think he'd had a better chance of scoring.
Here's the line out then into the last seconds. Long one over the tail, Heriot's have. Here goes Stuart Edwards. Hill. An element of desperation in Heriot's play now. Ritchie. Phenomenal tackling by Melrose. That's Russell Nimmo now on that far side. Get the sense this could be the last chance for Melrose. Nimmo again. Big cess for the tight head prop. Inch by inch, Heriot's crawling forward.
Melrose have to hold their discipline as well. Don't want to give a penalty away because obviously the play continues.
See the line of yellow and black jerseys they're defending. Edwards leads it out. There goes Ritchie, this big lad, Jamie Ritchie, the Scotland under-20s cap, and a very good one at that.
Coming back for a penalty. Oh. So what's happened here, Bill, is that Heriot have been awarded a penalty just outside the 10-metre line in centre field, and because the Melrose players have been judged not to release the ball, and that secondary ruck over on the far side is penalising them a further 10 metres, and now we've got a situation where right and halfway, bang in the middle of the post, on the halfway line, Heriot have a penalty.
Here goes Turley. The big lad, the captain, leading by example. Jason Hill. Fabulous play here by the Heriot's pack, and tremendous defence by Melrose. Edwards again out to steal. Here comes Buchan. Almost through, but tenacious tackling by Melrose. Turner is a wee bit isolated there. Wilson to Edwards. Dennis. Levison rather. Turley with a wee jump in the air like a horse jumping. And Steele again, as Heriot's work it wide. Steele cuts back against the tide. Very elusive player, Liam Steele. One of these lads who jinks and glides in his running.
This will be the last play of the game, Bill. This is so important to look after the ball if you're Heriot. It's so important to get your tackles and keep to your structures if you're Melrose.
Patience and skill. Oh, Ritchie's got away! Up the touchline he goes! Brilliant play by the home side. What a finale to this final. He's got the try! Heriots have got the score!
The final play, Bill.
22-20 for Heriots. Would you believe it?
And good luck finding out who scored when you look at those pictures. But a fantastic multi-phase attack by Heriots. Broken down the right-hand side with Jamie Ritchie. That was a telling break. And he popped the ball back inside. The last person saw with the ball I think was Keith Buck in the 12, and that was inches short of the line. We'll need to see who comes out as the try scorer, but I tell you what, the last play of the game, an incredible finish by Heriot. This is Richie's break down the right hand side, and you watch this offload inside. That's Keith Buchan with the hands of the ball. He's a fantastic tackle in there. I think it's by Blair Hutchison, and then from here the try scored. We don't know for sure who scored it yet, but it's a pick and go just nearest us. That looks like Jason Hill.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it is Jason Hill,
watch this
here's
pass
the close-up.
Watch this pass here inside for Jamie Ritchie. Buchan takes it on. Thompson makes a half tackle, and then Blair Hutchison finishes it off, number 22 for Melrose. And then look at this man here, number 8, Jason Hill. He's got the awareness. He knows where the ball is. He gets his hands on the ball, and he drives for the line. And that has won Heriot the BT Premiership for 2015.
That is a superb try. I mean, it's on the full 80 minutes. Conversion goes wide. Heriots have won the game 22 points to 20, and they have won this BT Premiership Grand Final in tremendous style. The whole of that last try is well worth another look.
Well, it came from the penalty, didn't it? There was a penalty. Melrose were defending really well, and there was a penalty on their own 10-metre line, in which Lloyd Linton gave Heriot another 10 metres. And the point I was making, it was bang in the middle of the field. I thought Graham Wilson would maybe have a shot to try and tie it level at 20 points all, but no, the tap came, and it came for that man Jack Turley, who took an initiative and blasted his way into the Melrose defensive line.
And the scenes of joy when Jason Hill went over were just quite remarkable. But you can see there the great camaraderie that exists in rugby union as the players who have battered each other from one end of this Goldenacre field to the other applaud each other and shake hands. They'll be the best of friends. Disappointment for Melrose, who have put up a marvellous game, a marvellous score, that was going to be it. However,
yeah, some fantastic scenes here, and I think that the Melrose guys are pretty shell-shocked, and there's nothing worse than losing.
Okay, let's go see if we can go across to the far side and join Graham Law, who can get us an interview with one of the winning side.
We're joined now by Heriot's coach Phil Smith. Phil, what a finish!
Yeah, it's kind of surreal, to be honest. I don't even know who scored. I mean, I don't know what happened at the end. It all got a bit wild, but I would argue we probably deserve to win the league in respect to the whole situation. So I'm looking forward to tonight.
The Premiership this season, culminating in this playoff final, 3 tries apiece today. Good advert for Scottish club rugby.
I really hope so, because it's been, there's been some fantastic games this whole year, and that was a nail biter, obviously. And it just shows that some of the levels of the club game are absolutely fantastic, and more people should come and watch because it's really good.
The initial part of the game, Melrose seemed to dominate the early stages, and you came back at it very well. And then it was a great try by Fraser Thompson just before half time.
It was a kind of key moment because we thought George had scored, and then he knocked on, and then from there they ended up scoring from that whole kind of sequence, and that was a bit of a shocker. And then started the second half was another a good bit of play, and then they scored again. So we're probably feeling a bit sorry for ourselves, to be honest. But the boys dug in and absolutely deserved it.
Enjoy your night. Well done.
Thanks, Graham.
Phil Smith, the Heriot's coach there, was speaking to Graham Law, and look at the delight still evident there in the Heriot's players. There'll be, 44 exhausted players there today, because that has been one very, very hard final.
It has, and you've seen the Melrose players in the huddle as the Heriot's players celebrate, and it's so little, and we said it'd be close. The games at the start of the season were both 1-point, 2-point games, and this was no different. Great effort, great commitment. And the final play or the final game of the season brings out the victor.
Now by Jason Hill, who scored that decisive winning try for Heriots. Jason, congratulations. Talk us through the try and the contribution from Jamie Ritchie, your fellow back row forward.
First of all, Jamie Ritchie, along with the rest of the back row, all season being outstanding. There's a good kind of bond. We all kind of, each one's roles all just kind of complement each other. Jamie Ritchie's tackling today was outstanding. Some of the noises that were coming from the body contact was just unreal, and it really G's you up going on through the game. Like, he can do it, come on, you can step up, follow in his footsteps.
The circumstances, though, for you to pull out the bag right at the death there in injury time, with Melrose possibly with one hand on the trophy.
Yeah, it's been Heriot's all year, kind of never say die. We're a great bunch of boys that just play for each other, and the fitness we do just makes we can play for 80 plus minutes. We knew kind of second half we get through 4 or 5 phases, we're on the front foot, we've definitely got something, and just to get that close at the end, like I'm not trying to steal the glory in it, and I just saw it at my feet and I went, but these boys, it was just quality. Like, listen,
well done, Jason. We'll let you join the celebrations. Congratulations.
Jason Hill speaking to Graham Law there, and look at the celebration. Oh, there he goes, right at the top of that. Chris, that's a great moment for Heriot's.
Yeah, it's a great moment for any team, isn't it? That's why you work. We spoke about how long the season was and how hard you have to work, but that's why you do it, for the days in the sun here where you work hard. And let's be honest, it was a final second, the final play of the long season we've spoken about, and their fitness and the determination and the skill level to hold onto the ball for so long, gave them an opportunity to score. And Melrose, I thought they played particularly well as well, came back into the game, and this will hurt for them this period, but they can be proud of what they achieved. So close, minutes away or seconds away from lifting the trophy, but I think the product overall with both teams was just a fantastic game, and we said it'd be close, and it certainly was.
Well, they're assembling the platform for the presentation of the BT Premiership Cup, but we'll just stay with these pictures here at Goldenacre.
It's Liam Steele, he was sharp the ball in hand, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. It was just the most amazing try that came about at the end. Right, I mean, they were in stoppage time. And it looked as though Melrose had won it when Andrew Nagle scored and Richard Mill converted to put it at 20 points to 17. But then came that Heriot's try from about their own, 10 metres, halfway?
Yeah,
round about that.
Yeah, the initial penalty wasn't halfway, bang in the middle of the field, and but Heriot kept possession, and they got that score right in the bottom corner.
Okay, Chris, let's go back over to the far side of the field. Here's Graham again.
We're joined now by Melrose coach John DL. John, a disappointing finish for your guys. Where did you think it got away from you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the game was, there was a lot of pressure on both teams there. It was certainly not a spectacle. There was a lot of mistakes either side. I thought, Heriot's probably edged a bit of that first half, and we're nowhere near our best. And I thought we got a wee bit of control back in that second half, but then the errors started to keep coming back in. A lot of it enforced. These big occasions do that to the players. I think it wasn't a spectacle. It was the same for both sides. I've never seen conversions being, charged down, things like that. We left a lot of points out here today as well that just couldn't get away from Heriot at key times. And the two phases, the one for ours trying to take the lead, and then theirs at the end. Just unbelievable. So hats off to them. It's their day. It's harsh, and the boys will come back better.
Thanks for your time, John. Thank you.
Cheers.
John DL, the Melrose coach, speaking to Graham Law there. Disappointment obvious for the Borderers, who won this competition last year and who have won it 9 times in the past. Heriot's last winning of the Premiership was in the year 2000, the Millennium year. That was their second winning of the Premiership. Of course, they used to have great teams away back in the days of Ken Scotland and Eddie McKeating and all that. Before your time, Chris, and I was a laddie then. But they were great teams, and they used to come to my hometown at the time of Hawick and play in front of massive crowds and great occasions.
Yeah, and
so we'll just come to the presentation of the Cup in just a second. And those of you who are still watching us on this coverage from Goldenacre, all you Heriot supporters at home, coming up to the big moment. There is the Cup, just being put in place. Ian Rankin, the president of the Scottish Rugby Union, in the grey jacket, just behind the gentleman who's looking after the Cup. And we'll maybe get some pictures from the far side there. Up come the Melrose boys just to get their medals. They have given everything they've had this afternoon, and I'm sure they'll be bitterly disappointed.
They will be, Bill, because they came so close. Not a lot in it at all. They obviously, as you said in commentary, they beat Heriot twice in the regular season. Lost out in the Charity Shield in the opening game of this season, and they've lost out in the final one just by a couple of points. But they finished third in the regular season. But they're a quality side. They're well coached by John Dale and Robert Christie, and they'll learn. It's a club that has always been forward thinking, and they'll learn. But that doesn't mean anything to the players at this moment. They just want to get that medal. and as soon as it's put on, they'll be taking it off and then just getting away and you know, let the dust settle. And after that, they'll realise actually, you know, that the work rate, the effort that you put in throughout the season is something to be proud of. But they'll be bitterly disappointed that it hasn't resulted in a victory this afternoon.
In a way, I suppose, Chris, some folk will be saying it's justice for Heriots to win this, because at the end of the regular season they had played all 18 matches and they were, what, 10 points ahead, 11 points ahead of Melrose. And it was only because this year is the first year with playoffs and a final that Melrose actually managed to get a second nibble at winning the championship. So Heriots finished at top of the regular season, 68 points from their 18 games. And there will be some roars as these Heriots players go up to collect this is the end of the domestic season, apart from the Borders 7th circuit, but this is the end of the 15th season. As you said, you mentioned it had been a long time.
Yeah, it's
here come the Heriots boys, Chris.
Guys. Jack Turley will probably, looks like he's going to come up last and lift the trophy with all the Heriots players on the podium, which is a sign that, you know, you work together, you play together, you celebrate together. Which I think it's a nice touch. But yeah, the playoffs are it's new to the BT Premiership obviously this year, but it's something we see in all sports, and it certainly keeps excitement levels. And you know, usually the team who comes out on top at the end of the domestic or the regular season wins, and that's been the case here. But they had to work really hard for it. They finished 11 points, league points ahead of Melrose, as you say, but only 2 points today. So it's a close thing, but. The Heriots lads will be absolutely delighted. They get their medals, and then Jack Turley's going to lift that trophy, and the guys will spark their celebrations.
I know John DL was obviously disappointed with the outcome and felt maybe they had left points on the field that they hadn't quite been able to make passes stick and so on and so forth, made a lot of errors. But actually, I thought it was a very entertaining 80 minutes of club rugby.
Absolutely,
and great stuff.
And the lead changed hands, the swing, the sway, and the momentum of the game changed hands time and time again. That's what makes it exciting. Games with a lot of mistakes are quite often very exciting, and this was certainly one of those. So, yeah, John will be disappointed. There were a lot of mistakes, but there's a lot of good play as well. And you know, for teams to manufacture tries when it mattered, for Heriot at the end, for Melrose just before that with Eagles' try, so the quality of Fraser Thompson's try in the first half. There's a lot of good things out there as well.
So just seconds away now as the last of the Heriots players come up to get their medal. And I think we may be able to get some pictures. Here we are. Here's the big moment as Ian Rankin, the president of the Scottish Rugby Union, comes round to the front and is about to present Jack Turley with the BT Premiership Cup. And this is a brilliant moment for Heriots. Just watch them. There they are. You can't quite see from that far side. Some broad shoulders in the road. But a great moment for Heriots as the cup is held aloft. And Chris, for the Edinburgh side, the end of a great season for them.
Yeah, absolutely. There's the trophy there, and there's the guys that have worked so hard together to get the trophy, and they will celebrate. But also in that shot, you see the kind of the true value of rugby. See the Melrose guys, no matter how disappointed they are, they've stayed out to watch Heriots lift the trophy. Now they're off, the medals are coming off disappointed. But this is all about Heriots. This is all about the hard work you put in, the pre-season that probably started way back in late June, early July, and the discipline to continue through the cold winter months, and then you get your reward, don't you? You play games like that to win in the last second of the final game and then get your hands on the trophy. There's no better feeling.
There we are then. That's just about an end to formal proceedings here at Goldenacre this afternoon. We've had 80 minutes of exciting rugby. We've seen 6 tries in all, 3 from Heriots by Turley, Bryce and Hill, 3 from Melrose by Thompson, Mua and Nagel. And it was Heriots in the end who pinched it. And there is the picture that will appear in all the Sunday papers and all over the world on the internet as Heriots sit there with the BT Premiership Final trophy. Well done, Heriots. So, from all of us here at Goldenacre, from Kirst Patterson, from Jim Mason, our TV producer, from all the crew who have brought you this coverage, thank you for being with us on this gorgeous afternoon, and goodbye.